Hello everybody, we are now back playing Rimworld, and this is the episode 1 for this new little series I'm going to be playing on the unstable version of the final release. Just couldn't wait for it, you know. So if you want to see the world generation and the people choices, go ahead and watch episode 0. Otherwise, this is right after we crash landed and I paused it. And here we are. So, where to start? This game is quite complex. So here we are. We have landed ourselves here in the middle of this map. There's Ella, there's Jan, and there's Lynn, and our random pet Nacho. It's a female husky. Yay, it's a useful one. We also start out with medicine, some weaponry, flak armor vests, and a hat and pants, a bolt-action rifle, some packaged survival meals, and all sorts of other stuff. We also all have on some clothing, so we're not all walking around naked. It's just normal synthread shirts and pants. So they don't provide much in the way of protection. They don't provide much in the way of warmth or insulation against heat, but they do cover your naked butt, and so anybody who's not a nudist will be happy about that. I don't think I've got any nudists. So let's see. As you can see, you can click and select a peep or a pawn. It's the names that they're given in this game. You can look at a person and you can see this little sub-screen here about them. This is their health overall. This is their mental state. This is what clothing they're wearing. I'll show you that later. And this is what area they're restricted to. In other words, they're not. Shows you what they're doing. Shows you their basic information. If you hit here, this is their health. She's got a little bit of cryptosleep sickness, which will go away after a little bit, so her consciousness is a little weakened. Manipulation, talking, eating, but everything else is okay, and she's in a little pain. A little more on that later. This is their needs. As you can see, everybody's okay at the exact moment, but they won't stay that way for long. She's sick because of the cryptosleep and in a little minor pain. Otherwise, she's okay. When they first start out, they have these helper things to get you through the beginning. That was the needs tab. Then you have the bio tab. This is what we were looking at when we were creating these people. So we'll be looking at this one rather frequently, as well as the needs. And the health one, when they need health changes and whatnot. This you can see their social relationships. They're friends with each other, which is good. And then one of them's a daughter. Oh, one has a daughter. Not here. Okay. This shows you their current equipment, as well as overall armor and other statistics. The more important one here is the comfortable temperature range. Notice that if you remember when we picked this point, it gets to a -8 degrees Celsius in the winter. So we are definitely going to have to, at some point before then, create some cold weather clothing. Yay. Because they will not be good out there without good temperature clothing. And then this is the log of all past things that have happened to them, which since we just started, there isn't any. So we start out in the middle of this map. The first things we should do is kind of look around a little bit, kind of get an idea of what's around us here. There is a large herd of gazelles here. That's beneficial and not so beneficial, because that particular one, because there's a herd, if I attack one, they might attack back. And that's not always a good thing if you're not ready for it. Now here's a mega sloth. Or mega sloth, or however you want to pronounce that. I say sloth. So he's harmless, but or she actually is harmless. But if you do manage to kill, they're very strong and tough, and they can hit pretty hard. But if you do happen to kill one, they give you a lot of meat in the end. Alright, whoops! Don't hit that. Rhinoceroses. This is alpaca. Those are good for their wool. I may end up taming them. Some ship parts out here, that's fine. You can see there's stones everywhere. And there's berry bushes, which are a great source of food if you don't have anything just yet. The thing I don't really have is much in the way of a defendable starting position. Unless I could build against this wall over here. But that's not that big of a deal. We can work around it. It just we can be susceptible to certain types of attacks if we can't really defend ourselves with our backs to a wall, for example. But we can surround ourselves with walls at a later point. But for now, I don't really see any reason to move, except maybe up here, because this darker colored soil is rich soil, and when I start growing, that might be a good thing to do. So yeah, you know, I could migrate up this way a little bit and make myself closer to here. So, as you see, I still have not unpaused it. There is so much to do when you first start that you just have to leave it alone. Now, as you see, I move my mouse around. This area down here gives you an idea of what I'm hovering over. This is a steam geyser, which will be useful for power later. It's relatively close to where I want to start. There's a number of them throughout the map. You can kind of do this, and there's 4 of them, it says. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so they're another reason to stay in this general area. They're all pretty much around it, with the exception of this little outlier way out there. So 3 of the 4 are right in this general area and can be claimed fairly easily later. Like I said, I don't really have any river moving water to do the water generator, the water wheel, but that's okay. Okay, so I guess I'll just start building in this general area. So one of the first things we have to do is we have to tell our people what to do. This game is kind of based along the idea of that you've got tasks and a priority list of which to do those tasks. A lot of them are here under orders in the architect tab. For mining, hauling things, cutting plants, harvesting, cutting trees, hunting, taming animals. The rest of these are kind of specific to other things, with the exception, I'll show you right now, of forbid and allow. Notice how all these items have little X's over them. It's because they're forbidden. The people won't do anything with forbidden items, so you can use that to lock a door, for example, or in this case, all these items as we crash landed are set up to be forbidden so that they don't immediately, right off the bat, without you telling them anyway, start hauling these things anywhere. So when you're in here, you can either, you know, select an individual thing and turn it off, or you can select the allow tool and then kind of click and drag, and that works. Also, forbid works the same way. The other thing you can do is right click on allow, and then you'll get this unforbid all items 51 affected. I honestly do not want to do that just yet, because of the fact that there are other things scattered around the map that are way down here. Like here's some. I don't want them going that far out just yet. So I will instead use this tool and just go over all the ones that are nearby. Here's some wood. There's some steel, actually. This is steel. So that looks like all of it. So okay, so we've got some starter wood. We've got some starter, a little bit of out of starter stuff. But honestly, we can't really do anything with it until it's put away, or at least put somewhere specific. So the other aspect of this game is that there's a lot of reliance upon the idea of different zones. So what I've got to do is create a stockpile zone somewhere where I want them to store all this stuff for the immediate purpose. This storage should be indoors under a roof, because certain things will deteriorate if they're not put indoors under a roof. But I do not have any roof at the moment, so well, I guess we'll just put it here for now. So there, now I've put it down. So I right click, hit escape to clear my cursor, and then you can highlight it, and you can see I can expand it with this, I can shrink it, I can just delete it. But in order to tell what's actually can be stored here, you hit this storage button, and you can see this starts out with storing literally everything. We've got foods, raw resources, items, weapons, apparel, everything except chunks and corpses. Chunks are these, the stones, as well as there's also steel slag chunks. They will not be put here, and corpses will not be put here. So basically everything else that they can haul, they will haul to here. So well, let's unpause it and I'll go ahead and show you. Now they are, yep, now they're starting to carry all this stuff up here and plop it down. Now this is just temporary because everything is deteriorating because of being unroofed and being outdoors. So that's not all we got to do though. So we're still not going to technically fully unpause everything just yet. So let's go back in here, look at zones. Again, we are going to have to define a fair number of food growing zones because this is what we're going to keep our little keisters alive on. And I'm going to make it so that most of it goes on the really nice soil here. I don't really want it to be shrink zone. So let's see, we can grow, this is where we grow plants, and after defining it, you can define what you want to grow here. We need, some of this has a minimum skill required, like heal root, so we may not be able to grow that just yet. Kind of what we need at the beginning is to grow rice, because that grows fast and we'll start getting return on it pretty quickly. The other thing we need at the beginning is cotton, because that's where we start making our clothes from. We will define some more growing zones here. Oh look, here we'll put it side. There, and this one will grow... Can I grow heal root? Oh wait, can I grow heal root? Yes, I can. It would give me a message if I couldn't. So I'm going to grow heal root right there. That's herbal medicine. And what else do I need here just before? Corn, hay grass. When I get animals, I'll plant hay grass. That's for them. Potatoes. There's some pluses and minuses for the different plants. Potatoes are hardier, and if you go to biome, if you start in a place that goes cold rather quickly, you can use potatoes and get a little bit more growth out of it because they'll last a little longer in the cold weather. Rice grows fast and harvests often. Corn grows slow but harvests in a large harvest. So you get, it's actually a little bit more efficient to grow corn, especially if you've got the rich soil like I've got at my availability here. That was 5 by 6. I need one more. There we go. This will be corn. What else is here? Got hue root. Strawberries are nice, but I'm not going to bother with them right now. These are just flowers. Not quite sure what you grow them for. Hops are for making beer. Psychoid plant is for making... there's a tea you can make out of it, and there's a harder drug you can make out of psychoid plants. And then there's smoke leaf, that's basically marijuana and or tobacco, kind of in the middle. Again, I will well, I won't go with psychoid because often I don't usually do psychoid because it requires a research to be able to use. However, smoke leaf plants, oh, that's turning into mud. Yeah, see, this turned into mud here. I can't plant or build on mud. I can walk on mud, but it's slower. Yeah, it looks like I'll start over here. Basically, I'm fitting all these grow zones on all this rich soil that I've got here because why not? That's exactly what you should be doing. You know what? I'm actually going to cut this in half. Well, I guess I can't really, huh? Alright, well, fine. we'll say 4x5. This will be psychoid plant, and then we'll do another 4x5. I did that on purpose so that it won't, if I did it and then touch this one, it would actually merge these two grow zones into one bigger one, and I wanted to avoid that. So, okay, so I'll grow one of each, just mainly as a thing to sell. And yeah, I might let them use it every once in a while, not much, but mainly as a source of income in the beginning. So I've got corn growing, I've got heel root growing, or will grow anyway. I've got a point for corn, point for heel root, point for cotton, and a point for rice. Actually, I could probably expand this cotton one a little bit, because cotton is kind of important. There we go. We'll make it a regular. Growing season here. It is the 12th of April. There's only 4 months. And April, May is spring. Or, well, it could, actually, if you're in the southern hemisphere, it will flip around, but I don't think I am. No, see, it's spring, it says for me. Alright, so I've defined... Still haven't started yet. Haha. I've defined a place to put things. I've defined a place to grow things. What we don't have is shelter. We don't have anywhere to stay. Now, as you can see, there's a couple of ruins around for buildings down here. And there's this one up here that I can't see what's inside it. Now, you sometimes have to be careful of pre-existing structures, especially the ones that you find kind of embedded in a mountainside. I think I had one that I may be able to illustrate with. Yes, this. This is a little small, so it may not be so. But these ones that are kind of embedded inside of mountainsides tend to be what's called an ancient danger. There's something dangerous in here. I can find out rather simply by just telling somebody to come over here. But I will probably do that later. It doesn't have to be now. However, the ones that are just sitting around don't often aren't often bad. But I honestly don't know. So, I'll tell them just to deconstruct that for right now. To see what's in there. Otherwise, I should build shelter for them, but for now I will wait and see what's going on with that. So let's see what else is here. The home area is a special area, a special zone that if you have this option right here on, as you build things, as you see, it all got marked as home, even though I didn't go in here and do it. I can do it with this, control. Even though I didn't actually come in here and do this, it's what it was already done for me. That's because of this. Typically, I'll leave it on at the very beginning, but after a while, I'll turn it off because I want to manage the home area a little better for myself. So, what's important about the home area? The home area is the home zone is like any other zone, but it has some special properties about it. For one, you'll only repair buildings inside of the home area. Another thing is they'll also clean only inside the home area. So you got to be cautious, both not to mark too much because you'll have people cleaning dirt for no reason, and also to mark the right ones because if you don't get your walls repaired, then things are kind of screwed. So it's a rather important area to have. Roof areas is how you define them to build a roof over things if you needed to. Like, say this didn't have a roof, I could go like this, and, well, that would build a roof, except I can't see the middle. If it already had a roof and I wanted to remove it, I would go like this. See? And then if I want to cancel my designation, that's what ignore roof area is for. I don't think we're going to have to deal with snow clearing at all. And then you have custom zones. The home area, as you see, is one of these zones. But then you can have as several other defined ones, and you can't select them or anything. They are largely for crowd control, for defining access where you want people or things or animals and stuff to go. So at this moment we will not need them. We add them as we go. So we're done with areas. Now the rest of this menu is about building things, in this case, this is how you build structures, like here's a wall, la-da-da-da-da, You can build bridges, you can build doors, and you can make them out of several different materials depending upon what you have available. This is where you build your production buildings, like these are called workbenches. Butcher table for butchering animals, a stove for making food, a stonecutter's table for making stone brick, research station for researching, a tailor bench for making clothes, etc., etc. And if you don't have anything, you have these very low-tech crafting spots and butcher spots. But we're going to be avoiding those. We won't need them. With the sole exception that making smoke leaf joints requires a crafting spot, but we won't worry about that just yet. We don't have any place to put workbenches. They usually should be inside of a building. They have speed penalties if they're not. Let me look at furniture. This is chairs, beds, sleeping spaces. So I could preemptively, if I don't know what's inside this, I could put down 3 sleeping spots on the floor, and if it night times comes, they'll all lay down there. And then I could build a bed or double bed. Bed rolls for they're made out of cloth, and you can take them with places and stuff, you know, so that you can carry a better place to sleep on a caravan than a sleeping spot. There's also animal sleeping spots, beds and sleeping boxes. There's chairs, stools, end tables, tables, lamps, torches, storage shelves, dressers, all sorts of stuff. And then we got power related buildings. I've only got a few options for power generation at the beginning: wood, chem fuel, wind turbines, power conduits, switches, you know, usual stuff. Security, right now I don't have much in here, but so you can build sandbags and spike traps. Eventually I'll get gun turrets, and other things like that. Maybe I do get missile turrets. Don't remember off the top of my head, but they'll eventually fill this in. Miscellaneous, this is where you dig graves or build sarcophaguses. Other things, they don't not really much in there we need. This is where you to build floors. Again, you can make tile, flagstone, concrete, wood floors, because the dirt isn't very good. They won't like it. It will affect their mood in the long run. Recreation, also very important. This used to be called joy. Without something to bide their time, your people will not be very good. So they'll go bad. They'll be mad. And so we're going to build a simple little horseshoe pin. Put that down real quick. We don't have anything under ship yet, but there is one of the ways to quote unquote end the game is to build a spaceship and take off. And this is where the parts for that would go when you research them. And then this one is for controlling the temperature of a room, for instance, heaters and coolers and stuff. We will eventually have to make a refrigerator to store all of our food. We'll get to that later. So that's by and large that's in this first architect tab. And all these other ones do much more. This work tab is where we assign the priorities as to what they will do. This also has to be done. This also has to be touched before you really start the game. Because they will do, this is what they determine what they'll do at what order. Now, there's 2 modes. There's this basic mode and this manual priorities mode. We'll start with basic mode. The priority goes from left to right. So they'll firefight before they patient or doctor or warden or cook, or they'll research at the very end. This is the very basic way to do it. So I could go through here and set it. Everybody's going to firefight and patient. Only Lynn's going to be a doctor because she's the only one with any skill. And Jan is my cook and stuff like that. This will work. However, I find that the simple mode is just simply not complex enough, not detailed enough. So then you have this manual priorities mode. Now everything has a priority number 1, 2, 3, 4, and what the difference will be is that it will still go on a left to right priority sweep, but it will do so 4 times. First with number 1, then with number 2, then with number 3, then with number 4. So what I tend to do is leave number 1 for either that is this person's calling in life. In other words, he is a researcher, he is doing it on a 1. Or he is a cook, he's doing it on a 1, that kind of thing. If you want to do that. 2 and 3 are kind of like a lower and higher priority. I will do this normally. And then 4, I usually use for, well, if you've got nothing else, do it. I will often make these first ones like this. But I can just do this now, yeah. So I will make, on average, the general one is I'll have everybody firefight on 1, everybody be a patient on 1. That means if I got shot, I need to be a patient and lay down in bed and let a doctor come and take care of me. So that's what patient means. Then doctor obviously means doctoring. Bed rest, when you've been seen by a doctor and you still got wounds, you might want to stay in bed for bed rest. That's what that is. Actually, I'm going to leave that at a 2. Okay, so everybody starts with this at the beginning. Basic is flipping switches, opening containers, releasing prisoners. Some low skill things. Just go take care of them, especially flicking switches. Do it now, because usually that's what I need it to be done, is now. Bed rest on a 2. That means if there's something they really, really want to be doing, they'll go and do it rather than stay in bed. Now, with doctors specifically, I will break the pattern. I will have them patient on a 2 and doctor on a 1. That's because I want them to do that first, actually. Even if they're bleeding out, I want them to treat. Usually, though, I set doctors to be able to treat themselves. So now the rest of these, we could leave at 3s, or we could look at these a little bit better, depending upon what everybody has here. So I don't really need to worry about handling just yet, or wardening. I'll leave these on 3s. That means they'll get done if they need to be, but not on anything super important. On the flip side, cooking, I want him to do cooking as much as possible. Cooking and constructing. You're going to be doing constructing on a more full-time basis. Oh, wait, but hold on, no. Growing, more important. So they'll do growing before they do handling, constructing, plant cutting. Wait, plant cutting should be a 2-2. Art, let's just forget about art for the moment. Crafting maybe will be needed. I'll leave that at a 3. Hauling. Hauling and cleaning is kind of important. At the beginning, you don't really have much. Whoops. But I will actually put hauling on a little bit higher priority, if not even this, at the very first, in order to get everything moved over here. I think I will. So, yeah, this will be fine for now. And the honest thing is that you're going to be twiddling the values on this a lot in order to get them to do what you want them to do. This is fine for now. I've got plenty of constructors. I've got a grower who's going to be planting all these plants. And I should probably do a hunter. Not a lot of mining, not a lot of smithing, tailoring, or crafting just yet. So, okay, I like this to start with. Yeah, that's fine to start with. So you will be touching this quite frequently. Restrictions. This is where, first of all, you set their daily schedules. So you can make, just set it so that they'll do work, say at 9 in the morning till, this would be 2 in the afternoon. So they'll always work for this period. And then they'll have the recreation, say maybe towards the end of the evening. Something like that if you want to. The thing is that I find that they're actually quite accomplished at doing what they're going to do without me really telling them you must work during this period, with the sole exception of telling them when I would like them to go to bed. So you tell them to go to bed, and then they'll stay asleep until they need to wake up, and then they'll wake up, do whatever they've got to do, and then work, and so I tend to like to let them to trust what they're going to do. This is also the place where you can very quickly restrict your people to an area. Say you're being attacked, you can say everybody into the home area now, and that's what that's for. the rest of these tabs aren't as important as what we've already touched, so we'll get through this rather quickly. The Assign tab, you can have policies for clothing, food, and drug usage. Somebody's firing fireworks outside. Okay. Right now it starts out where they can wear anything, and there's other things in here, a worker, soldier, and a nudist. I just leave it at anything at first. Their food restrictions, not really that important right now, but I can limit them to nothing but simples if I wanted to, or even nothing but raw food, you know. So they added that recently. That is a very good thing. I think that's even a 1.0 specific release or edition. And then drug policy, I can have them, let them have 1 drink per day. Unrestricted social drugs. Social drugs just means that they'll nurture their addiction if they have it, and they'll maybe have a beer or a smoke leaf joint every once in a while during recreational purposes. So that's usually good to start with. Later on, you'll start restricting things, like you'll have better clothing that you'll want them specifically to wear, especially in the winter. And so that's what you would make an outfit for policy. Anyway, this is also where you can quickly change all of the couple of things for your duplicants. I will use that word forever, I swear. You can change their reaction to attack. You can either ignore it, run away from it, or attack back. I'll change that later when I figure out who's going to be using which weapons. The other thing in here is that you can restrict medical care. Right now, everybody starts at the best possible quality medicine whenever they need to be treated. That's not always the best thing. I will often restrict it to herbal at first, because I can pick up herbal medicine. I just don't have much regular medicine. So when someone gets really, really injured, I will switch this back to best quality medicine. But if they've just got a scratch from a mad squirrel and they're fine, you know, they don't need to use the best stuff. So, so that's what's in the Assign tab. Animals is another important one. Right now, all we got is my husky Nacho. You can see it's female. This is she's an adult. If she was pregnant, you'd see a little symbol here. She's been tamed and trained in obedience. With dogs, you can train them to haul things, and that's what I will do. You can also train them to attack and to rescue people. These two can be problematic because, and this one as well actually, but not always, is that these two might put your dog or your animal into harm's way. Because obviously if they're going out into a battlefield to rescue people, they might get shot. And if they're following you around and you send them out to attack, you know, release the hounds kind of thing, they could get shot as well. These last two are controls to whether you want them to follow you, based on what you're doing. I don't want them to. I don't typically fight with animals. They're kind of squishy. You can set who they consider a master, and it's Jan because this one's got a bond with her, and this indicates the bond. This means slaughter, so I can slaughter a tame animal with this. I do not want to do that with this dog. Nope. Even though I could, and skin it and eat its meat, yeah, but I don't do that with dogs. This also has the medicine restriction, although it always starts out with herbal for animals. And then the allowed areas restriction thing again for animals. And then there's wildlife. This shows me an overview of all the different things that are on the map without having to go, where are they now? Anyway, it's sorted by this figure here, which is the chance to seek revenge. If I try to tame one of these animals or I attack one of these animals, they're more likely to retaliate. So trying to tame a rhinoceros isn't exactly a good idea. Trying to tame a megasloth isn't a good idea either. So this also has some of the same stuff from the animal tab: gender, age. This column indicates that I want to mark them for hunting. This one indicates that I want to mark them for taming. This is their revenge attack level. This column here is for carnivorous types. So I've got a cougar on the map. How far are you? You're far enough where you won't be an immediate threat to me, but you never know. I'll probably have to kill you eventually. We got a fair number of alpaca, a lot of squirrels, rats, and hares. So I'm gonna set some squirrels to be hunted here for the fun of it, you know. Okay. This is the research tree. I don't have a research building yet, so I can't do anything here really. This shows you the world map again. You can make caravans and travel around and potentially make other cult bases and stuff. It's kind of neat that way. This is the history. We don't have any history yet. There's the factions overview menu thing. Let's see here. Where am I at now? I think I can finally unpause this. Now, obviously, I did a lot of talking, and some of that isn't necessary when you start your own game, but, you know. So finally, we're going to unpause it, and we'll run it at medium speed here. Primarily, everybody's going to kind of start hauling things around, because that's what I wanted them to do. Oh, wait, no. Ella is going to start planting, and Lynn and Jan are doing all the hauling. Ah, weaponry. I should take care of that real quick. There's a rifle there. Let's look at their bios. There's a key. Ah, you are the best at shooting. You will get the best gun. You're the next best at shooting. There's a revolver around here somewhere. There it is. You will get this. And then the third person, who really isn't much good at combat, is going to wear this plasteel knife. And then with the armor, we'll wait on that, I guess. So there she goes. Alright, so the other thing I need to do, now that they're doing that, is start giving them some orders along the lines of, let's harvest everything in this area. Wow, only some wild heal root. What I was primarily looking for was a nice batch of berry bushes, but there isn't any close. Excuse me. So, no, there isn't any close. That's strange. Just these over here. You can double click and you'll select all that's on the screen at the time, and you'll notice I use that a lot by, I'll zoom out this far maybe and do it, and I can see, whoa, there's quite a few in the various areas, but I don't want them running quite that far around. Do this. Maybe I'll go a little closer. Yeah, there we go. So I'll have them harvest this. You harvest the full-grown plants, and they'll the berries will give you berries, and the bushes will kind of turn into one of these and grow and start the cycle kind of halfway over again. Let's see, the other thing I need to tell them to do now is to start chopping some wood, which they're going to do some of this as some of this is done here. Jan, I need you to temporarily, he's over here cloud watching. I need you to come over here and deconstruct this wall. Hopefully there's nothing in here, and then we can just start building our house. Yes, nothing in there. Good. Okay, so we have to first claim these walls that we're going to use them. That primarily what that does is, if you have the home zone expansion on, it marks it as your home zone, and that's fine. So we claim it. It's already got floors. We need to put a door here. Here's the structure. Just a wooden door will be fine. Furniture, we will put our sleep spots in here. 1, 2, 3. As well as a torch. As well as an animal sleeping spot for the doggy. Hey, why not? How about a flower pot? Yay, we've got decor. Haha. Anyway. So we are going to... I don't have enough room in this little thing. Oh, look, rotate is actually on the right key this time. Haha. Yeah, this ain't gonna fit anywhere. Not really. So yeah, that's just for this literally just temporary housing. I can deconstruct these because I don't need the ones out in the middle of nowhere. Okay, go ahead and play, guys. Keep pausing it. I need them to actually do some things here. So they're moving things. Now what I could do is build a roof over these. Now, it's not completely enclosing it, but it's better than nothing. So I told him to build those 4 pillars, and then I'm going to take the build roof area thing and go like that. And they will eventually build... They hauled all the stuff in there because that's what they're set to hauling. So you can either... what'll happen when they're building something is either the individual who's doing the building will pick up and go get a raw material and bring it and then start constructing, or someone who's hauling will take a raw material, haul it to it, but not actually build it. And that's what's happened to all this, is that these have had their materials hauled to them but not built. And now see, he's building a roof over it. Go Jan. It's starting to get dark, but that's fine. We've got a place to sleep now. Oh, here's some more iron to bring in. Okay, now's about the time when I don't mind going into orders, right-clicking on allow, and allowing all items on the map. That way I can come over here and get these things way off in the middle of nowhere. There's not that many of them, so now that we've got the very raw basics right now, and that is a place to sleep so that we're not outdoors. We don't have a bed, so we're going to get ate without table. We don't have anywhere to eat on a table. It's not, the environment's rather unsightly. They'll wake up. When they wake up, they'll have slept on the floor, and it will lower their attitude a little bit. They didn't quite get everything planted, but they got a good start at it. I've only got one individual really doing it, and I've managed to find quite a large amount of plants being planted. They didn't finish this, so now it's nighttime. So I think that's where we'll have to leave it for this, because this was the first day. We literally just crash landed, set up all of the priorities and other configurations and stuff, and hauled all the stuff into a stockpile. That's what we've done so far. To find some places for growing, and we're sleeping on the floor in an abandoned building. But we're alive, we're going, and we'll continue going until the next time. So, until next time, everybody, this was PhazeonPhoenix playing Rimworld. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and you have to hit the little bell in order to get all the notifications now. And like my videos, and leave comments because I like to read comments. So until next time, everybody, have a good one. Bye-bye.